All right, good Monday afternoon. It is 5:47. I am on Interstate 26 East. I'm about an hour and a half out. Been crushing this drive back and forth from Pennsylvania to Greenville, South Carolina. All good. Dealing with some stuff, but we got everything where we need it to be. And that's what life's about, man. You got to overcome challenges. You just got to do it. You just got to plow through it, do the next thing, and that's what we've been doing, including driving back and forth. I don't know, 8 times in 3 months, whatever. But I own this road. That's what I can tell you. All right, on a whole different topic. All right, so I want to tie two issues that were in the news. Well, one was in the news a really long time ago. One is in the news currently, and I want to tie them back into substance use disorder. And I really want to tie it back into the issue of stigma, and I want to challenge y'all watching this, and challenge myself, challenge healthcare providers, treatment providers, recovery folks, society in general. And again, I'm going to say it. We really do not consider alcohol misuse, alcohol use disorder, opioid use disorder, cocaine use disorder, substance use disorder. We do not consider it a disease by any stretch of the imagination. And the evidence is sometimes blatant, given the fact that we just lock everybody up who has any kind of issue related to substance use disorder, and we just keep feeding the industrial prison complex. Sometimes it's blatant like that, and sometimes it's more subtle, and you got to look closer. You have to be a trained sociologist like me. You have to be a trained observer of human behavior in order to find these. So they're more subtle. All right, let's go to the first example. The first example, I just stumbled upon it. I was reading an article in Fortune magazine. Fortune magazine had a really interesting issue this month. It was about basically companies around the world that are doing good. And one of the companies that was highlighted was Merck. And Merck was highlighted for its work with the Ebola vaccine. All the money that they put into it, that kind of stuff. And the article it said something along the lines. I don't have the article in front of me, and I'm driving, and I have to keep my eyes on the road. But you know, I'm going to get real close to this, paraphrase a little bit. Here's the deal. They basically were saying, like, Merck has done an unbelievable job arresting this diabolical epidemic that is the scourge of the planet. When 11,000 people, this is what it said, 11,000 people died from Ebola from 2014 through 2016, and they were so happy because Merck stopped that and arrested it at 33, this most recent outbreak. So first of all, go on the record. This isn't about Ebola. Do not like comment. Don't put anything in the comments about, oh, Rich, you don't care about Ebola. It's not about Ebola. I'm glad that Merck has figured out Ebola. Here's what it's about. Think about that. 11,000 people over 2 years, and it is the scourge of the planet, and Merck had to throw all this money at it. 72,000 people died last year of drug overdose. 88,000 people died of alcohol misuse. That will happen next year. It'll happen the year after next. It'll happen over and over and over again. And I don't understand how if it's 11,000 people, it's the scourge of the planet. If it's 72,000 people, it's no big deal. All right, that's the first example. The second example is a little bit of a stretch, and I'm going to challenge your thinking. All right, we all know the hashtag MeToo movement. We know all this environment, everything going on with the corporate world, everything going on where, you know, people are doing this sexual harassment, and everybody's kind of getting out of line with that stuff. And I guarantee it's happening, and I know it's happening in all kinds of different environments, but why isn't anybody talking about this? Why isn't anybody talking about the role of alcohol in those problems? How many times is alcohol involved when people get together at their event, and their event is a work network party / frat party, and dude gets a little tuned up, and he says something or does something, company gets sued, woman's life gets destroyed, and what we hear about is sexual harassment and everything, and we need to hear about that, but we also got to be talking about the fact that alcohol is always at the center of this. And here's the deal. No one wants to take away your alcohol. Another reason we're not talking about it is because everybody thinks that if you talk about alcohol, it equals abstinence. And if you talk about alcohol, it must mean that we're calling somebody an alcoholic. I'm not calling anybody an alcoholic. What I'm saying is that if you run your business like it's a big, giant frat party, you better get prepared to get your ass sued. Now, I want you to check out my Facebook page. I want you to check out my blog, recoverycartel.com. I want you to check out the nonprofit that I work for called Favor Greenville. And I want you to read the things I write. And I want you to listen to what I say. And I want you to get in touch with the vibe. This is not judgmental. This is not calling anybody an addict or an alcoholic. It is a healthcare issue. We need to connect it to the greater good. And we need to start talking about it. Because if you start talking about it and you talk to me, you talk to somebody like me, I won't break off a speech and I'm going to help you figure it out. I'm going to save you a bunch of money because you're about to get sued. Can't roll like that anymore in today's world. Later!